Next on The Broadway Show, Kinky Boots is back to raise you up. The Tony Award-winning musical returns to New York City. We're having fun with Cyndi Lauper. Plus, still sexy, still sizzling, and still spectacular. I'm hanging out with the star of Moulin Rouge, Broadway's newest Christian, Derek Klena. And 6 reigns supreme. One of the queens of this pop concert spectacular spills the tea on this Broadway musical. All that and more on this latest episode of The Broadway Show. It's all about the best and brightest of Broadway each and every week here on The Broadway Show. I'm Tamsen Fidel, so glad to have you with us. Everybody say yeah, Kinky Boots is back in New York City. The musical won 6 Tony Awards after it first landed on Broadway in 2013. Let's send it out to Paul Wontorek.
That's right, Tamsen. This joyful musical smash is now playing at Off-Broadway's Stage 42. I sat down with 2 of the show's Tony-winning creators, songwriter Cyndi Lauper and director-choreographer Jerry Mitchell, to find out more. Hey guys, congratulations. Kinky Boots, apparently you can't keep a kinky boot out of Times Square because you're back.
It's pretty cool. It really is.
You know, they were going to try and move it right before the pandemic. And then the pandemic happened and everybody went, and so finally the time came. We've been fortunate to have productions all over the world. Yeah. And I was just in Korea where they're doing it for the 5th or 6th time. And they're already planning it for 2024. Talk about a show that is being accepted. The show is being accepted around the world in the exact same way people respond to it here in New York. They're feeling the music, they're getting the story, they're getting the show.
We know each other for
a long time.
And the first time I met Jerry, we did the gay games in Yankee Stadium. And he was going to choreograph Girls Just Want to Have Fun. And I was really excited about doing it. And my friend said to me, why don't you have, some fabulous drag queens dance with you? And I thought, because to me it's very Fellini-esque and it's just fantastic. And honestly, I'm a bit of a drag queen myself. And so I said, great. And honestly, the shoes alone were incredible. And I couldn't...
50 drag queens. You brought 50. There were 50 drag queens.
That's too much. It was
Yankee
Stadium. And the thing is that when I looked at the Jumbotron, they never had them on. And that really got me. And I said, okay, I'm going to make a video and they're going to be freaking famous and everywhere you're going to see these people.
And then we did the video together.
And I called him and he choreographed the video. And so this moment when we did Kinky Boots, it's everything we all have worked on all our lives. And it's an important message that everybody who worked on this show felt. And we wanted to do it with humor and joy and have so many different kinds of people in the show. I mean, that's, to me, it's so diverse.
And also, like now the show's reopening and a gender fluid generation is rediscovering it in a new way and defining their lives in a new way, and the show allows them to accept themselves so others can accept them and vice versa, and the message still, maybe even more now, registers in a new way, particularly with young people.
Cyndi, you've seen your music hits become obviously international and go global and become the soundtrack of our lives, but did you ever know that your Broadway work would have this kind of impact? Because it was exciting when you first announced you were coming to Broadway.
Listen, I worked with Pat Birch, who was an amazing, and still amazing. She knew Joe Papp very well, and Joe Papp wanted me to be in Cabaret and all this stuff, and I said, listen, I can't do that because the minute I do that, my career's over. And I knew that because back then, that's the way it was. And I kept trying and trying and trying to, do the right thing, but I never really was like my peers. I loved them all. I thought they were really fantastic, but I was never like Prince. I was never like Madonna. I wasn't like Billy Idol. So I just kept thinking, well, just keep trying. But then after a tour, Harvey called me and I got back and he said, hey, how'd you like to, bunk in with us? We're making shoes for what, transgenders?
Yeah.
And I was like, sure. And he said, Sin, look at the movie first. And when I saw the movie, it was shoes. And I'm just trying to say that when we did the Yankee Stadium thing, the shoes alone,
We're fabulous.
okay, incredible. I just, I wanted to work with Harvey. I knew Jerry.
Yeah.
And I just said, Harvey, just don't hire crazy people because I don't want to work with really crazy people. And he said, okay. And who knew that he thought I was the craziest one?
And the show went on to win 6 Tonys, including Best Musical, and you both won Tony Awards for your work on Kinky Boots.
I mean,
It's
he's-
crazy.
I'll never
amazing.
forget when he said he wanted to use the conveyor belts.
Right.
And I thought, wow, the conveyor belts. Modern art, modern dance, I'll never forget, he danced across the room and he said, I want a song at the end of Act 1 where everybody says yeah, and he jumped up in the air. And I'm thinking, everybody say yeah, huh? Okay. So I went out walking and I started saying, everybody say yeah, yeah. And I was thinking, what if Lola was the deacon and it was a gospel thing and it was like the Church of Shoes? Then when I got together with Stephen Aremus and he knew all the gospel stuff, I mean, that's when it really turns pretty great.
Everybody say yeah, 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 yeah. Say yeah, yeah. He wants to hear yeah, yeah.
Then get this in a rehearsal room with some of those dancers, and it's history. I mean, it's just
Some of
a
those
classic
dancers, some of those
showstopper.
amazing dancers.
Yeah, they really were and are
Yeah.
amazing.
The only 80s female icon I love more than Cyndi Lauper is Tess McGill. And you are writing a working girl musical, and I cannot wait for this show.
I mean, I got a good anthem, but and I'm working with Teresa Reback.
Yeah?
Right now, me and Teresa, because when I was working with Harvey, we were very close. So I just want to be on the same page and we're telling the same story. I've been freaking doing this for a long time, so I know the story inside and out that I want to tell, and it's really a heroic journey
Yeah.
of a young woman.
Welcome to the Moulin Rouge. It's still one of Broadway's hottest tickets and one of our top touring shows. And I had the chance to catch up with the Broadway Productions Christian, Derek Klena. So first of all, we did it here, I guess, so people don't forget your name. What does it
That's
feel like
me.
to walk into? I mean, you should by now walking into the theater past your face.
It's amazing. I mean, there are very few Broadway theaters that have this kind of front of house and have the ability to have your face on a pillar. So it's a Broadway dream. It's awesome. It was a little awkward at first, but now I've learned to embrace it. And no, it's really amazing. The design here on the front of house and in the theater is top notch.
Everybody gets to take their picture with you, right?
Exactly. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
You don't have to
Yeah.
do anything. So how's the show going? This is a quite a switch, but what a show. What a sexy show.
You hit it on the nose. It's sexy. It's everything. It's spectacular. It's just an embarrassment of riches, and I'm so thrilled to be assuming this role after the iconic Aaron Tveit. I have a kind of a full circle story about Aaron. One of my first big auditions in New York City was for his standby in Catch Me If You Can when I was in
wow.
college.
Okay.
And so now to be taking over for him after his Tony Award-winning performance is kind of like a full circle moment for myself. And I've been in the city now for 10 years, so it's a dream. And to be doing this with Ashley Loren, who's insane and phenomenal, has been so fun. And with every audience, we find new little tidbits. So it's been super fun to play with and explore.
How is this show different from the others that you've done? Because I feel like everyone knows the music, everyone gets excited
Yeah.
when the song, everyone's got their favorite song.
I think that is
Yeah.
the major difference. I mean, we had that with Jagged Little Pill too,
Sure,
because
sure.
everybody comes into it. But that was a very different feel,
Right.
very different tone of a show. We were addressing some very hard-hitting,
Right.
topical, present issues that we were all dealing with in our day-to-day. So, and the songs took on a completely different meaning because of the story that we
Right.
were telling. with this, not only do we have the iconic film that we're drawing from, but we have this incredible book that kind of takes these characters on a ride, and the way that Justin Levine has interwoven these songs into the plot line, everything, the marriage is so beautiful. It's so much fun. I work harder than I've ever worked in my life, but it's the most fun to do, and I'll never get sick of doing it because we get to sing all this fun music. And I think that resonates with the audience as well. As they come in, they're ready for it. They know what to expect.
They know all of it.
And it's been super fun to explore and fun to sing.
When you go home at night, is there a song that always plays in your head where you can't fall asleep? Do you have one, or do you
man.
know how to shut it down? Because these are the songs that play in your head over and over
well,
again.
it's Hey Ya, because we have a mega mix at the end of the show, which is also very rare for a Broadway musical. But if you know Alex Timbers, he loves a mega mix, and he loves a grand finale. So we definitely have Hey Ya, and so I'm singing in my dressing room before I go out for my final bow, and that's kind of what lingers in my head. And then every day it's kind of different. Sometimes it's raise your glass, sit up and raise your glass. Sometimes it's Come What May, that I just find myself singing daily to like warm up.
Great shows back to back, though. I mean, really, such different ones. But what great shows!
I think that's been the coolest thing is how different they are, and the roles, the ages of the roles that I get to play. I was 18 and now I'm an adult, which is fun.
Up.
Yeah, this has been like a pinch myself or like a pinch me year to have this opportunity. Coming from one of the greatest opportunities of my life, being in Jagged Little Pill. So.
So real fast, where are you heading next?
So after this, I'm heading to Turning the Tables series with Ellen Marsh and her incredible team, and I will be re-auditioning for Jagged Little Pill singing Perfect. And so it's this amazing like YouTube series that friends of mine have put on where they basically take performers in their iconic roles and kind of give them their first audition all over again with a few twists in there. So I'm excited to see what they'll give me.
Do you remember your first audition?
My very first audition. Well, in New York, I do. It was actually for the first non-equity tour of Spring Awakening. But I remember coming to New York with my mom. I was 18 years old. I made it to the final callback, so it was between me and Chris Wood, who ended up playing the role. But that was my first like gauntlet of auditioning through in the New York experience, and I was here with my mom. Kind of didn't know what I didn't know.
That's so cool.
I'm still like, I was geeking out at this year's Tony Awards seeing the original cast of Spring Awakening because it's still like one of my favorite shows ever. So to have that be my first audition in New York at the peak of like Spring Awakening fame was crazy, and I was bit hard by the bug, and I knew this is kind of what I wanted to do, and I loved that process. And
now you're on a big pole in front of the theater.
Now I'm on a pole. So it's going well, knock on wood.
Coming up, it's been the toast of Broadway for a century. We'll take you to Sardi's in the heart of the theater district. This is The Broadway Show, and we're back in just a few.
We're still bowing down to the Queens of Six, the musical. You gotta respect the royalty of this pop concert extravaganza. Here's Charlie Cooper.
Thanks, Tamsin. Don't lose your head over this. Andrea Macasset has been reigning as Anne Boleyn in Six since its North American debut in 2019. We met up here at the Civilian Hotel to talk about the sisterhood of the crown, celebrating womanhood, and so much more. So we've got a queen in the house. And listen, we're excited to have you because it's been several days since you've been on stage. You kind of took a moment to take some care of yourself and to prioritize self-care. What do you hope the first day returning back on stage feels like for you?
I've been out for the last week. My body told me to stop. I'd been on vocal rest and I'm just resting. The show's hard. And when you do it 8 times a week, we are not superhuman. And when you try to be, your body will say, hey, stop.
You talk about the show being hard. It is. You guys are on for hours, just straight, just on stage, singing, dancing. You're in these costumes that are heavy, but beautiful. You made your Broadway debut as Anne Boleyn, which is huge.
Yeah.
How have you made that role as Anne yours over the past few years?
Anne Boleyn grows as I grow. So she's different every day because I'm not the same person that I was yesterday. I'm ever evolving, and she is too. And I think that is how I honor her in the show and keeping her fresh and spicy every day. I've been given the opportunity to just be myself throughout the entire process. Toby and Lucy have been really adamant on us just bringing our authentic selves to our characters. So that's what I've been doing.
I think a lot of people are curious about like the sisterhood that you guys have built as the women of Six. Even when the curtains go down and you guys are just together hanging out, what does that look like for you guys? I know you recently took a trip to Miami.
We did.
Talk to me a little bit about that.
We had 2 days off, and it was maybe like one of the only times we would ever have an opportunity maybe to go on a vacation all together. And so I said, should we go to Miami? And we all just kind of like, I found the hotel, I found the flight, and it's like, okay, it's like $500 to go. Let's do it. And then we all did. So behind the curtain, they are my sisters. We've grown up over these last 3 years, 3 incredible, monumental years that changed all of our lives. So to be on that journey all together, where no queen is doing more than the other within the production, so we feel each other's energy and we feel what one another is going throughout the entire time on stage and off.
What I love about the Queens is that I feel like you guys really show that womanhood can look like so many different things. It can be bold, it can be sensitive, it can be all of these things. Can you kind of speak on that?
I think that's what's so special about the show too, is you get to sit down and you see all 6 women from different walks of life being bold and funny and vulnerable and outspoken and sassy and diva and all of these things, which we all are. And it's like these 6 queens embody the one woman. That's what's special about it. You are given permission to be exactly who you are, when you are, where you are.
Thanks for staying with us for this latest episode of The Broadway Show. So glad you're here.
Sardi's, it's been the toast of Broadway for 100 years, a New York City institution in the heart of the theater district, known for the iconic characters on the walls.
Let's send it out to Perry Sook.
Thanks, Tamsin. I'm here just steps away from Schubert Alley, surrounded by countless can't-miss Broadway shows. But something else that shouldn't be missed on a trip to New York is a trip to Sardi's. Let's head inside to learn more about this historic restaurant. Now, the first face you see when you walk into Sardi's is that of the maitre d', Ivan. Ivan, how long have you worked here at Sardi's?
29 years.
Any special memories, any that stand out to you?
Patricia Neal, she would walk in and she would sit at this table right here because she couldn't walk very well, and she would see me and grab my hand and say, "Hello, darling." Moments like that, like Rue McClanahan, she used to hang out here all the time. This was her place. A lot of times actors, we try to keep them safe and make them feel comfortable.
Sure.
And we don't want the people to bother them while they're eating. However, Rue told me never stop a guest to come and see me or ask for an autograph or for a picture.
Wow.
She always said yes to everybody. And then there's other moments like when one time Catherine Zeta-Jones walked in and she asked me to show her caricature of her husband, Michael Douglas.
Yeah.
Of course, everybody's dining, middle of dinner, everybody's talking, and as we were walking through, you can hear the silence.
Really?
And then you hear the whispers, "Oh my God, that's Catherine Zeta-Jones." Yes. And then you have, I don't know, George Clooney once,
Right.
quite the opposite. He was walking outside, and as he walked through, people stood up and started clapping like crazy. So moments like that, yeah.
Quite the clientelist in the history here at Sardi's. Do you mind showing me around a bit?
No, absolutely. Come
Perfect,
on.
let's go.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we see the famous Sardi's caricatures all around us. About how many of them are there?
There's probably about 17 or 1800 of them. Wow. Not all of them on the wall. Some of them have been stored in a vault.
Wow.
Out of the frame. But yeah, probably 800 of them at any given time on the walls between first, second, and fourth floors. And how you get a caricature on the wall, you have to be a Broadway actor, a star on Broadway, and you have to create a relationship with the restaurant. I think there's like a symbiotic relationship between Broadway and theater and Sardi's.
All right, so where are we now?
Well, this is the second floor dining room, club room, filled with caricatures just like downstairs, of course. And there's one of my favorite, Kermit, probably the most popular among adults and the kids.
Oh,
Everybody
sure.
loves Kermit, and that's why he's screwed into the wall.
Screwed into the
For
wall.
safety,
Wow.
yes.
That's amazing of all these, and there are so many. It is really remarkable how many there are.
And they go all around, even into the bar. You want to take a walk to the bar?
Yeah, sure. All right, I'm here at one of my favorite places in Sardi, up at the upstairs bar with one of the longtime bartenders, Jeremy. Jeremy, how you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you, Perry. Good to see you.
Now, what would you say is the most famous drink here at Sardi's?
The martini is really still, it's a classic bar.
Well, Jeremy, my wife is from Russia, so do you mind making me a vodka martini?
Absolutely.
That's phenomenal. Well, while we got the drink going, can you tell me a little about the menu here at Sardi's?
The menu, it's a continental menu. It's changed over the years. Was French inspired for a little while. A couple of traditions, the cannelloni, which was part of the original menu. Different meats wrapped in a crepe with a cream sauce and melted cheese on top.
You're making me hungry over here, Jeremy.
A few salads, a few sandwiches, some appetizers, and some entrees.
For an extended cut of this interview and others, head over to Broadway.com. That's going to do it for us, but until next time, check out The Broadway Show Uncut wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Tamsin Fidel, and you're watching The Broadway Show.